Welcome to a short video on CBAP mock questions from Adaptive US. My name is Mishra, Principal Trainer and Business Analyst. I have been lucky enough to guide more than 900 professionals complete CBAP certification in their first attempt. So I'm going to discuss few sample questions with you so that you get a flavor of what kind of questions you may expect in CBAP. You may already be aware that CBAP is a very prestigious exam, and learners who complete CBAP get significant benefits in terms of salary, brand recall, better jobs, better roles. So there are many things that you achieve with your CBAP certification. So let's take a look at the first question that we have in front of us. And the question goes like this. Organization A provides scoring points, must have gets 10 points. Discretionary items are given points ranging from 1 through 9. Vendor proposals are ranked against the criteria list. The vendor with the most points is selected. The techniques used during this process are option 1, vendor assessment, key performance indicators, and mind map. Option 2, vendor assessment, key performance indicators, and acceptance/evaluation criteria. Option 3, decision analysis, structured walkthrough, functional decomposition. Option 4, decision model, activity diagram, and financial analysis. So take few seconds to kind of mark your answer so that you can compare with the answer that we consider to be the right answer. Now take a look at the actual or the answer that we have come up with as a faculty member at Adaptive US. Correct answer, option 2, vendor assessment, key performance indicators, and acceptance and evaluation criteria. So if you look at the explanation, please observe that the company is trying to evaluate vendors. That kind of points to vendor assessment. It has defined key performance indicators. That's how the rankings are given. And it also has developed an evaluation criteria to rate these vendors. Now let's move to the second question and see what's the question. The second question goes like this. Business analyst A is a new business analyst for an application re-engineering project. A needs to choose the initial elicitation technique. A has a large number of stakeholders located across multiple locations. Business analyst A's preferred approach will be option 1, interviews, option 2, workshops, option 3, observation, option 4, survey. Again, let me give you about 10 seconds to kind of get this question answered. You have the question in front of you. So do pick up a pen and paper and write question number 2. And what's your answer? The answer suggested by the faculty members at Adaptive US is option 4, which is survey. And the rationale for that is surveys are a useful technique to gather requirements from a large geographically dispersed stakeholders. So suppose you have more than, say, 200 stakeholders and they're scattered around the world. Then survey would actually work very well as an initial stakeholder requirements gathering technique. There is also an explanation given with a reference to BABOK. Now let's take a look at question number 3. A is a business analyst for project B. One particular stakeholder is adding unnecessary requirements and expectations into the go, no-go criteria. What should A's approach be before submitting the requirements package? So the options in front of us are option 1, call a meeting with the project sponsor and the SME in question and lay out the assessment of the situation. Option 2, do not invite the stakeholder for the decision package review meeting as the stakeholder disrupts the decision-making process. Option 3, facilitate a brainstorming session among executive team members to deal with the SME's expectations. Option 4, seek a meeting with the SME to listen to the concerns carefully and be able to reflect them back to the stakeholder. Again, I will give you 10 seconds to kind of assimilate the question and answer the question. So let's take a look. The correct answer happens to be option 4, seek a meeting with the SME to listen to the concerns carefully and be able to reflect them back to the stakeholder. Now, as you can observe, This is a win-win strategy. Escalation is not a good approach in the beginning. And sometimes we may have to escalate, but that you should treat it as a very last option, not a very initial option. Now moving to question number 4, the question goes in this way. Business analyst A is struggling with how to model requirements in the best possible way for this project. In particular, the business wants to allow mortgage applicants the ability to save their application and resume it later in the future if they cannot complete the application in one sitting. Which of the following options best describes the above information or situation? Option 1, data analysis. Option 2, goal decomposition. Option 3, use cases. Option 4, scenarios. Again, take a few seconds, write down your answer so that you can compare with our answer. The answer given by the faculty team at Adaptive is scenarios. Why not? Why scenarios? Since the process requires a save and submit option, which is a different option than submitting straight through. This is in fact quite a bit a tricky question because use case also could be a correct option, but since we are talking more about specific scenarios than an overall use case, so it is better to answer scenarios than use case. Remember, there can be multiple technically correct options for a question, but what we need to choose is the option that will actually be the closest one to the situation that we are describing. Now let's take a look at the next question. Question number 5, business analyst A is worried about the low adoption of newly deployed application. The solution comes with many new features compared to the earlier application. A investigated the reason for the same to be usability aspects not being considered while developing the new application. Business analyst A should, option 1, modify the application for better performance. Option 2, modify the application for better security. Option 3, modify the application for more features. Or option 4, modify the application for better user navigation. Again, take 10 seconds, write down your answer in your notebook or Excel or Word, wherever you are trying to capture the answers, and let's take a look at the answer. It happens to be modify the application for better user navigation. So as you can get a hint from the question itself, that the issue was usability, and user navigation is usually considered a part of usability. Is your application easy to navigate? Is it easy to find out the features that you have built, or it is really difficult for users to find the features out? Now let's look at question number 6. Business analyst A has transitioned from full-time software engineering role to become an internal analyst within his company for a new project. The project is intended to unify and streamline the operation of several ad hoc processes and systems that have grown over time. A discusses with other BAs to understand how BA was performed in the past. A is discussing option 1, business policies, option 2, stakeholder engagement approach, option 3, business analysis performance assessment, option 4, business rules. Again, take few seconds to answer this question. Write down in your notebook as well. Look at the answer. The answer happens to be business analysis performance assessment. Business analysis itself is a process that needs to be understood, analyzed, and improved. Here, the analyst A is trying to get a feel of what has worked in the past and not worked in the past in absence of a formal process and in light of his own lack of experience as an analyst. So always remember, as business analysts, we are also responsible to improve our business analysis process itself. Now let's take a look at question number 7. Again, the same question, but with a different tint. Business analyst A has transitioned from full-time software engineering role to become an internal analyst within his company for a new project. The project is intended to unify and streamline the operation of several ad hoc processes and systems that have grown up over time. Among following, which aspect impacts the selection of business analysis approach? Option 1, timing of business analysis work. Option 2, business analysis activities. Option 3, acceptance of the BA approach. Option 4, complexity and risk. Take few seconds, write down your answer, and you can compare your answer with our answer as well. So let me go to the answer part. The answer is complexity and risk. The remaining options that you saw, they are mostly the output of your approach, not the input to your approach. The project is described as complex, and the complexity and risk of the project does affect BA approach. So as per BABOK, if the project is very complex, usually you go towards the predictive way. If the project is simple and does not have much risk, you definitely can go for an iterative approach. Business Analyst Q is leading the implementation of a customer relationship management system. The project will impact more than 3,000 users across the organizational structure. Q is creating a stakeholder map to plan her activities. This task refers to option 1, plan stakeholder engagement. Option 2, plan business analysis governance. Option 3, identify business analysis performance improvements. Option 4, plan business analysis approach. Again, have few seconds to write and think about your answer, and then write it down in your notebook, computer, Word, Excel, wherever you want to capture, and we will take a look at the answer. The answer is plan stakeholder engagement. As you can see here, this is the process of working out how to engage with stakeholders during a project. And remember, this project has 3,000 users being affected. So obviously you can't deal with all 3,000 users in the same way. So you need to create a map which will help you which stakeholder category is the most important stakeholder for you, and which ones can be kind of considered the low severity stakeholders to whom your engagement can be somewhat minimal, or maybe there is only a formal newsletter which goes to the stakeholders who are not so much impacted by the project, but they would like to understand what's happening in the project. Business Analyst AIM is leading the implementation of an industry-leading web-enabled customer relationship management system. Originally, the company used a desktop CRM, which was very expensive to upgrade. Which technique will be most helpful in the transition process? Option 1, data model. Option 2, persona. Option 3, interview. Option 4, Kano model. Again, let me pause for a few seconds so that you can take down and think of your answer and write it down on your notebook. Be option 1, which is data model. Again, remember, data migration is key aspect of any transition requirements. And in our case, since we had a desktop application which would have a data structure, and the new web-enabled system will also have a data structure, you need data models to map these data systems from one to another, because the data from the existing subsystem needs to be migrated to the new web-enabled system. Transition P is a leading IT services provider. It executes more than 500 projects every year across multiple domains, geographies, and sectors. Which task is essential for organization P to take benefit of earlier project requirements? The options in front of you are option 1, organization of business analysis information. Option 2, storage and access and plan for requirements reuse. Option 3, level of abstraction and requirements attributes. Option 4, plan traceability approach. Again, I will give you a few seconds. You think of your answer and you can match your answer with our answer. The correct answer is option 2, which is storage and access and plan for requirements reuse, because the question is very clearly pointing to the fact that the company is interested to reuse past requirements, and obviously reuse is the center stage in this particular question. Questions, do take a look at our website, and the link to find more CBAP questions is adaptiveus.com/CBAP mock questions. Thank you so much. If you have any questions on CBAP or any other IIBA certification, please feel free to write to us. You can write to us at cs@adaptiveus.com. That's customer success@adaptiveus.com. Thank you so much.